Welcome to yet another exciting educational video brought to you by Upvision Concepts Academy. So today we'll be looking at support and movement in plants and animals, biology. So in today's video, we'll see key concepts and definitions, what is movement, types of movement, supports and movement in plants and animals, types of plant supports, movement in animals and plants, support and movement in animals, e.g. Types of skeletons, the human skeletal system, the joints, the muscles, and important experiments to demonstrate this topic. So sit tight and enjoy the lesson today. If you are yet to subscribe to our channel to get more videos and content in these terms. So what is support? Support is the ability of an organism to hold its body or body parts in a position to resist the force of gravity and maintain shape. So you see that without support, the organism will not be able to maintain a definite shape or appear in an aesthetic form. So we'll go into the importance of support. What does it mean for the organism for it to have this support system? Number one importance is that it maintains the shape of and posture of that organism. You see well-defined outlines for plants and animals. It is the support that is carrying it in the way it's appearing. So number two importance is that it allows movement of body parts. So you see, for instance, the arm of a human being can move in a particular direction. Why? Because the other part of the body is supporting it, or there's a central support system that encourages the body part to move. Third importance is that it protects delicate organs like the skeleton. You see, the skeleton is a support system. You will see that there are some organs that there are skeletal structures around it. And fourthly, it enables plants to stand upright and expose leaf to photosynthesis. Okay, so for a plant to reach out to the sun, to be able to get exposure to sunlight, support system is needed. So movement in organism is defined as the change in position of an organism or part of an organism in response to stimuli or need. So if a cat is walking to go and catch or running to go and catch a rat to eat, that is movement. Something will trigger it to change position. It won't stay in one position when he's doing that action. Or if a leaf is trying to grow or turn to the direction of sunlight, you see, something will stimulate it. The key point or the term when defining movement is change in position. If position does not change, movement has not occurred. So movement is the change in position of an organism or part of organism in response to stimuli or need. So we'll go into the types of movement. Okay, so we'll go to the types of movements. Like I said, you have 4 types on the board: the tactic movement, the Trophic movement, the Gnostic movement, and the Locomotion movement. Okay, so what are the differences? What are the key things that we have here? For tactic movement, the whole organism moves. The whole organism moves. So that's for tactic movement. So every part of the organism moves. It is common in microorganisms. So this one is common in microorganisms. Common in microorganisms. Okay? So the next one is the Trophic movement. The Trophic movement actually has to do with directional growth. Directional growth. Okay? So what comes to mind is for plants, yes? In response to stimulus. So most of the time, plants respond to stimulus that has to do with light source that is searching for light. Okay, so trophic movement has to do with directional growth in response to stimulus, e.g. photosynthesis in plants. Then the third one is Gnostic movement. It's not that a movement that is nasty. It's just Gnostic in the fact that it's a non-directional response to stimulus. Okay, non-directional response to stimulus. So that's for Gnostic movement. So an example of this is the closing of mimosa leaf. The closing of mimosa leaf. That leaf that when you touch it, you just close. So that's a Gnostic movement. Okay. So finally, locomotion is active movement from one place to another, common in animals. Active movements from one place to another, common in animals. Example, dog running. A dog is running. So this one is locomotion. Animals and humans normally do this kind of movements. So we're diving into support and movement in plants, and you have types of plant support. So what are the types of plant support? So I have the rigidity of plants, then we have mechanical tissues and special structures. So under the rigidity of cells, you have water pressure. So water pressure is involved here. Water pressure is in vacuoles. So this is in cells. Keeps young plants erect. So this keeps young plants erect. Okay, so that's for the rigidity of cells. So under mechanical tissues, I have collenchyma, I have sclerenchyma, and finally the xylem. So these are the parts that forms the mechanical structure of the plant. So the collenchyma are flexible supports, okay, in young stems, okay, and leaves, of course, and leaves. So you find this collenchyma there. Then sclerenchyma has it provides rigidity. It provides rigidity. Okay, so still found in stems, and then the xylem provides support and conducts water. Xylem provides support and conducts water and make water to pass. Okay, so finally, under the types of plant supports, because we've talked about rigidity, mechanical tissues, and now special structures. Okay, so for the special structures, we're looking at tendrils and roots. Okay, so tendrils help climbing plants attached to supports. Okay, so if you see yam, for instance, this is a tendril system. Tendril helps climbing plant, any plant that can climb. You see them now using this feature or the tendrils to ensure that they can attach to any support and they will climb. So it helps climbing plants attach to supports. Okay, and finally the root is the one that anchors the plant to the ground. It anchors the plant to the ground. So you see that these are support systems for plants. It anchors plants to the ground. In fact, this is very important for that support system. Okay. Okay, so here we talk about the movement in plants. How does plant move? If they exhibit a kind of movement, what do we call it? So these are the types of movement in plants. Okay, so the first one I have here is phototropism. Phototropism has to do with response to light. So, you know, movement can come from response to stimulus or need. So, response to light, when the plants move to the direction of light, we call that movement phototropism. Now, for geotropism, okay, I believe you can understand what that first one is, phototropism. Okay, so for geotropism, it is the response to gravity. Response to gravity. So a plant is going down, the root is going down, it's gravity. Response to gravity. Movement of the root to the ground. The root does not grow up, it goes down. Okay, the third one here is Thigmotropism. For Thigmotropism, is response to touch, like tendrils. Response to, let me write here, response to touch. It touches, e.g. tendrils. Okay, and the Hydrotropism. Hydrotropism has to do with response to water. When plants respond to water, and the Gnostic movement has to do with Mimosa pudica. That's plant that responds to the folding, respond by folding its leaves. So, okay, example, e.g. Mimosa pudica responds by folding its leaves. Okay, so folding leaves. So these are the types of movements in plants. I'm sure you will be seeing them in nature, but now we are putting a name to these kinds of movements. Okay, so we're moving on to support and movement in animals. We have seen the plant, and now is animals. And you know the main form of support for animals is the skeleton. That's like the framework. So for skeleton types, we have hydrostatic, number 1, skeleton, number 2, exoskeleton, and endoskeleton. For hydrostatic skeleton, you will see it as fluid fields, yes, cavity providing support, e.g. web earthworm, providing support, e.g. earthworm. So the earthworm, that fluid in it. Then you see exoskeleton has to do with outside. Anytime you see exo, it means it's outside. Skeleton outside the animal. Example, insects and crabs and insects. Okay, so I'll just put it here. Skeleton outside the organism or animal. Okay, e.g. crab, some insects, yes, insects. Okay, so the endo is the one that's inside, internal skeleton. Okay, so this one, internal skeleton. So example, what are the examples for this? Mammals, birds, etc. You know them. Okay, reptiles, etc. So the human skeletal system is what we are looking to look at next. So for the human skeletal system, we'll look at it in depth. There are two classifications or types. That is, in the human skeletal system, you'll be seeing these two types or sections because they are both present. So the axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. So the exoskeleton has to do with the structures in the skull, the vertebral column. What else? The ribs and the sternum. Okay, and for the perpendicular skeleton, you see the limbs. You see the pectoral grid, pectoral girdle, and pelvic girdle. Okay, so these are the breaking down of the skeletal system. So you have the skull. The skull is at the head, the vertebral column, the ribs. See the ribs somewhere here. I don't want to go into full. The sternum, and the limbs. There's the limbs, and so on. I don't want to go into that, but just to show you that all this comes from the human skeletal system. Okay, so now we have the joints. So the joint is also part of the support system for animals. So the joints are junctions where two bones will meet. So you have types of joints: the movable and fixed joints, e.g. skull bones. Those one cannot move. Skull bones, that one cannot move, but the bones will meet at a point. Slightly movable are the vertebrae. That's where you have the spinal cord, the vertebrae. And freely movable, you have the hinge. That's your elbow. This joint here, you understand? So it's the hinge. That is freely movable, can move anyhow you want to move it, though in a particular direction. Okay, ball and sockets, the shoulder, ball and sockets joints. That's a freely movable ball and socket joint. The shoulder. You have the pivot, is the neck. These are freely movable, can move your neck. And the wrist, your arm. Okay. So for muscles, you have the voluntary and involuntary, then the cardiac. Okay, so let me just put muscles here. These are joints, so this will be muscles. So muscles, you have the skeletal. You have the smooth, and you have the cardiac. When you see cardiac, you have to deal with the heart. So this is found in the heart, outrightly found in the heart. So these are muscles found in the heart. For smooth muscles that are involuntary, this muscle is found in internal organs. So these muscles actually just work with stimuli. So internal organs, that's where these muscles are. But these skeletal ones are attached to the bones for movement. So your arm muscles, your leg muscles, the skeletal or voluntary, this one can move when you want to move them. So they are found in the area, they are attached in the areas around the bones, attached to the bones. So these voluntary muscles are attached. That's why it's called skeletal. So we have successfully wrapped up. We are wrapping up this particular topic: supports and movement in plants and animals. We saw definition of key concepts like supports, movement, types of movement. We talk about the tactic movements, trophic movement, and Gnostic movements, locomotion. We saw the support types in plants and animals. So I will leave some questions in the comment section for us to look at. If you have not subscribed to our channel, kindly subscribe to our channel to get more content. And I hope this information has been informative for you. I'd like to thank you for viewing.